Hey, what's happening? I'm Mansoor. You're listening to First Exit to Springfield. I'm here with a very special guest as ever. This time it's Shuffle T, aka Adam. What's happening, bro?
Not a lot, but I'm happy as Larry.
Excellent. I love happy guests.
Yeah.
You want to see the guests who didn't make the cut? awful people.
Just like sad clowns.
Yeah. There's like an unreleased archive of this show. Yeah, really glad I could get you on, man.
Glad to be here.
For the listeners who are unaware, Shuffle T is one of the funniest dudes I know. I mean, he's you're a full-on comedian now, right? I went to see you live, man. It was inspiring, honestly.
Well, on the 7th of September, I'm doing a live show.
Oh, excellent.
Don't know where yet, but I've agreed to it.
Good stuff. So this show comes out way after that. So
that's a retro plug. That's to give people like fear of missing out.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll check that out. We'll drop a teaser clip so people know. So where's that at? Here in London?
Probably.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Somewhere in the M25.
I've just agreed to it. I don't know the details. I'm not mad. I'll just hopefully turn up.
Nah, but honestly, yeah, check this guy out. Have a look on YouTube. Search Shuffle T. You'll find plenty of funny stuff. You've just come back from Edinburgh, right?
I have,
The
yeah.
home of comedy.
La Frange.
What's that like, man?
Yeah, it's pretty busy, man. It's pretty intense. Like, there's about 50,000 shows every single day. Everyone just like is constantly looking at comedy.
Wow. There's comedy running all the time. It's like Comedy Central, but funny.
Yeah. Actual Comedy Central.
Right.
Comedy underlined. And like, the weird thing is something like that, where it's a festival, kind of like takes away the novelty of going to see a comedy show.
Right.
So like everyone gets like hardened critics by the 7th day, and they're like, nah, not into this guy. Like, and but it's good because it gets you seeing some like obscure people. It's also like really good because a few people that I've only known from like, you know, talking on Twitter or now and then or something like that. You know, they just happen to be performing shows there, so it's good to be able to.
That's sick, man.
You know, meet people in the flesh.
That's dope. I want to go out there, but I'm worried that like, I think like comedy is cultural.
Yeah.
This is getting way too deep for the show. I think that comedy is cultural, and I think that the subset of comedy that on show at Edinburgh is maybe not strictly aligned with what I'm into. So I don't know.
I mean, there's some. It feels like I'm just promoting Edinburgh now. There's something for everyone there, man. Like there's all kinds of like amazing shows. There's just, you know, one man shows that are quite serious, but there's also just like crazy musical shows, and yeah, there's it's worth a go, man.
Next year I'm out there for sure, man. I got a few friends who do that stuff.
Hopefully I'll get a sponsorship from them from bloody talking them up on this podcast.
Yo, Fringe, if you're listening.
The best festival in the world.
Yo, also, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still waiting on the sponsorship deal for Chicken Cottage. If you guys, all right, man. Anyways, I like to warm up by asking my guests how they got into the show. Tell me your origin story of how you got into The Simpsons.
Not of this show.
Oh no,
which I discovered before The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
People get
before
into the
podcasting
show.
was the thing. No, yeah. It's kind of. I reckon it's a boring and I reckon it's a done one. So I'm really sorry about that. But
lay it on me.
Basically, it was the multi-video box set things.
Yes.
Like the Too Hot for TV. I remember being the main one.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. It's everyone, right? Everyone has that.
I didn't know that until I started recording this.
It's
stuff.
so weird.
Yeah.
But like, it's interesting that like, yeah, I definitely think I saw an episode or so of it before, but then at some point it made the change between being something I just have seen a couple of episodes of and sort of liked it as a kid, too young to really get the humor, and then seeing 4 of like the best of them or 4 or 5 of the best of them presented on a video and being like, this is consistently really funny.
Yeah.
And it's a mix of all the different series on those box sets sometimes, so that was quite good to sort of like hop from bit to bit. I can't remember what was on the Too Hot for TV one now, but I'm pretty sure it was that one where it was the Treehouse of Horror was on it, where Jerry Springer's on it, I think. Do you remember that one? Where it's like where they figure that Maggie is actually the daughter of Kodos.
Yes.
And so, look, Maggie lost her baby legs. And then like they go on Jerry Springer to find out who the real, like, you know, to talk it out and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I think that's the only thing I'm pretty sure I remember that being on there, because I think Jerry Springer was on the front.
Right. I think that might have had the one where Bart becomes a preacher.
Yeah, possibly with the bucket on the head one.
Yeah.
Testify. Come up and testify. My knees misbehaving. Testify. I got a crank and a glaving. Testify. Got a nicotine craving. Testify. That's a great one, man. What series is that? Is that like 8?
That might be a little later, maybe 12.
Yeah.
That's, Baryshnikov gets his leg torn off and...
yeah, my leg, it broke off. Was that the real name of
the player, the football player?
Do you know that? That's amazing.
The best line is, I think Milhouse gets hurt or something, and he's like, a request as he's laying injured is, bury me at Makeout Creek.
Yes. Yeah, because he gets run over, because Bart takes away his glasses, and then he's like, here, dog, here's a car, and just smashes into him.
Oh, man. We're getting ahead of ourselves. This is the pre-fun.
Yeah.
The fun before the fun. That's my pre-evil.
Nice.
That's cool, man. That's like I love those stories, man. I'm yet to find a really like provocative origin story. Nobody's come and said like,
You want someone? Do you know what would be good is like someone who like never watched cartoons before, and then like tragically got hospitalized, and then only on the TV they would play Simpsons. But not the box sets, just like on TV. They just have it on Channel 4 at 6 p.m. and that's the only time they turn it on. And then they just like, through that, got their legs back. I've decided they've lost control of their legs. And then they get it back and then they ended up being a writer on the show.
Wow. Yeah,
that's superhero level of origin story.
I think that happened season 12 episode. That's cool. I need to get somebody who's like, grew up like underground, like also, doesn't even know what
a Mormon family. Yeah.
Give me someone from North Korea saying like, doesn't understand. Anyways, cool.
May I swear on this show? Is this swearing?
Oh yeah. Man, we keep getting these emails from
really
some very conservative listeners.
Genuinely, you keep getting emails about
little Susie. If you're listening, we terribly sorry. Nah, kid, you're free reign, absolutely.
Sweet.
We'll keep going until YouTube throws us off.
Fudging sweet.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy is that if your podcast is explicit, it takes like forever to get approved on iTunes.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway. Hey, they're not that liberal West Coast company at heart, really. All right, so here's the loose structure of the show.
Hit me.
And I mean loose. Basically, we're going to run through your top 3 episodes.
Sure.
We'll deviate. That's encouraged. Yeah, we'll go from there.
All right.
This is like a journey into your mind. It's kind of like being John Malkovich. Cool. All right.
Do I start with number 3 and go to number 1?
So this is interesting. So there's no particular order. I realize it's way too complex for some of our...
I might just put it into my own order of 3, 2, 1.
Sick.
Honorable mention. At the end.
And we'll get into those at the... plenty time.
Nice.
Cool. All right. So kick it off for me. What's the first episode we're going to talk about?
Number 1 or number 3.
Number 3
is going to be King Size Homer. Has this been done loads of times?
No, this has not been done.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Is this the one where Homer gains like 100 pounds?
Yeah. He gets I think he goes from 240 to 300 pounds.
Wow.
And it accidentally goes to 315 pounds because he keeps going on the towel rack and not knowing it. So he's like grossly obese. And there's I didn't watch this one again recently. I watched the other 2 choices again, but I thought I'd leave one where it's sort of like where I remember it.
Hazy memory. To remind our listeners, his intentions are noble, right? There's a justified motivation here.
Yeah, he wants to get out of doing the exercise at work, which Mr. Burns has put a new regime into work where they have to do like I think it's 10 minutes of light exercise.
Yes.
And it has that joke at the beginning where he's doing a press up and he's like 2, and then Lenny's like, actually that's just 1. See, a press up contains both an up part and a down part, and then he just collapses. And so he wants to get out of that. So the only way he knows to do that, he reads like a little book. Oh no, he gets told that someone else is out of it because they're disabled technically. Right. So he reads a little book called Am I Disabled, which has a picture of a guy reading the book Am I Disabled on the front with a pole going through his helmeted head. And he's going through all the list of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he goes, morbidly obese. Like that's the easiest one. So he goes to the doctor, gets turned away from Dr. Hibbert, goes to Dr. Nick Riviera. Who
Him
gives
and
him
that old
like
quack.
Yeah, he's like Hibbert's like, I'll have no part of it. Can you recommend a doctor who will? Yes. And then Riviera's just like giving him all the ways to gain every pound.
Yo, where is Riviera from, man?
I have no idea. It's just vague foreign. It's just like vague away. What does Riviera sound like? Like the name Riviera? That sounds like Italian.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
Is the word Riviera Italian?
The French Riviera is like the south coast of France, right? Or something?
The French Riviera. Yeah, maybe it's French. Maybe he's meant to be French. He doesn't sound French. He doesn't sound anything. He sounds like a mixture of all.
He sounds like UKIP's nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know where this guy's from. He went to some bogus uni, right? Was it Hollywood
he's
Upstairs?
like Hollywood Upstairs Medical College too. Hey, did you go to Hollywood Upstairs Medical College too?
Yeah, Riviera's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's a great character.
Don't mean to derail you.
No, it's all gravy.
Well,
Like Homer's diet plan in this episode. And then he's gaining loads and loads of weight, and he's working from home, which is his dream. And then he gets into trouble with a nuclear plant because he uses the drinking bird, do they call it?
Yeah, the nodding thing.
Yeah. To just hit Y. And then
that's my day job.
that's you anyway.
Yeah.
You are the bird.
Software engineer, they call it. That's cool. Now, do you know what I'm saying? I sympathize with him because exercise is hard, man.
Yeah, fuck exercise, man. I hate it.
Yeah, for real. When you work out much?
No.
No. All right.
No. I mean, so would you
look
ask? I've got like I suck in all the time.
Yeah.
That's basically my exercise, just sucking in my gut. Which I remember about 10 years ago, an article, or like probably not an article, but like a little thing on, Good Morning UK or something, where Katie Price was like, oh, if you suck in, you'll lose weight. And I was like,
wow.
All right, I'll do that. Doesn't work, but it just gives you the illusion of doing it, because if you suck in all the time, of course people are going to say, have you lost weight? No, I'm the same. I'm just condensed. All my organs are in one central location now.
It's like a corset.
Yeah, it's just a makeshift corset.
Listen, never take health advice from Katie Price.
Well, I know that now. At the time, I thought she was my god.
That's cool. Let me
She's all I knew.
Never take weight advice from
Katie Price. Baby!
Hey, I'm here all week.
Baby Spice. Anyway, Rachel Weisz. Let's go on.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Dana White.
You'd swear this guy was a rapper.
Lady Di. And
he's moving at twice the speed. I'm on half speed right now. Jeez. No, I was saying, like, I tried to work out, man, but I need to stop going to the gym, man, because there's this guy there who's like taking a liking to me.
Really?
Yeah. And I think he works there. I think.
Is he taking you under his wing and he's just like, look,
listen,
you gotta pump harder. You're like, back off, Jerry. I don't know you.
That's exactly what it is. And he's like checking for me. He's like, hey man, how come you weren't here yesterday? I was like,
Jesus,
you
man.
checking? Well, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Do you think one of your friends has like hired you a personal trainer and not told you?
That's a great gift.
Yeah, just like a secret.
It's so weird. I don't know. I know it sounds paranoid, but sorry. So basically, one time I joined a gay gym, but I didn't
know there was a gay gym.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not officially a gay gym, but it's like it's one of
right.
But I didn't know. It took embarrassingly. It took me weeks to realize. I was like, why is there no women in here? And, so I mean, it's cool.
That's amazing.
Those guys look great. Maybe
yeah, of course. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
They know what they like, and then they put it on. That's good.
It's cool. This will all go. Right. So Homer, he gets out of the exercise.
He gets out of the exercise. He's happy as can be, but then he messes it up with trusting the bird to hit the Y key.
Yeah. Oh man.
He ends up making a nuclear meltdown, basically, and then he has to go in and save the day hands on.
Oh man. But it's ironic that a thinner man would have fallen to his death.
Yeah.
This episode is full of quotables.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just...
I wash myself with a rag on a stick. That's a great. That's like one of the biggest ones in my household. Yeah. Like, those ones that your family just like hold on to. Yes. That's ours. Oh. And it's like, yeah, Bart's having that little like vision of like, I want to be a fat lordo just like that. And then they're all taking pictures of him. And then after he says he washes himself with a rag on the stick, they all applause. I love Bart's, like, his fantasies are so funny, man. Like, he has so many good, like, him and Homer have the best fantasies throughout the show. I remember there was one where, actually, I'm not going to say that now because it's in one of my things.
Yeah,
but
like, I'll give you an example if you.
Yeah, hit me.
Well, no, Bart's got some amazing ones. Bart, I think it's the Otto show one where Bart thinks he's like a future rock star or something.
Yeah,
you know, and he's laid out drinking whiskey or something.
Yeah,
and Milhouse walks past and says, "You changed, man." And he has a weird British accent for some reason. He's sod off. I told you to sod off. It's so weird.
Oh my God. The best thing about their fantasies is that a lot of the time the fantasies are still a shit version of what they want. And that's so like, there's a bit where like, in a completely different episode, there's a bit where Homer's taking pictures of himself as Pie Man, I think.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's behind the desk is like, "Hey, I'll give you $500 for these." And then he's like, "Yeah, sure, that's amazing." And then he goes, "You keep bringing me pictures like this, I'll make you a moderately wealthy man." And then he goes, "Moderately wealthy." And then it just cuts to like his fantasy of him rolling about in like a little bit of money and going, "Woo, I'm nearly rich. I can rent anything I want." Rent anything. He's like so small fry, even though it's his
He's not even winning
world.
in his dreams.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh God.
I think maybe that's the magic of The Simpsons, that there's some realism in it.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's the best thing about it is that it's sort of, it never, their dreams are always not that big. Like Homer's dreams are always to, you know, have a job which is relatively attainable. In the Golden series, they're always sort of relatively attainable, and Bart, you know, never has aspirations as a kid apart from to be like more of a fuck up, really. And it's only Lisa who has like high in the sky thoughts. You know, she kind of always wants to be a doctor or wants to do something with her life or wants to help people. And Marge is always small fry as well. Marge has like daydreams of cleaning products and things like that. And it's only in certain episodes where her like real dreams come out, where she wants to like, where she writes a novel and she wants to have someone who's like a really macho version of Homer, or where she wants to become an artist. Or, well, she always wants to be an artist. She just rarely talks about it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, you know, why? And why doesn't she go on about it all the time? Because she's a really good artist. Yeah. And it crops up enough times that it's definitely like, it's not just a random thing that it's a fad that she has. She's always been good at it. She always is going to be good at it. But she never really like pursues it.
That's
apart from one or two episodes.
To our listeners, follow your dreams.
Yeah, follow them. Don't settle for a Homer.
Hey, they're doing all right.
No, they're fine.
That's cool. That's dope. I'll say my favorite bit is I think Homer's, he just sat watching TV or something, and the bullies congregate outside.
Yeah, get his broom.
What's he doing?
He looks like he's trying to get up and yell at us, and he's like trying to get all this over. And he's just, oh, forget it. There's so many good bits of like the kids' relationships with Homer in that episode where Lisa's like, "Hey, look, my dad may have gained a few pounds, but he's not some kind of food crazed maniac." And then he drives past in the ice cream van, which was set up just like half a minute before. And then he's like, because what does Ralph say? He's like, "I heard your dad went into a restaurant and ate all the things in the restaurant and they had to close the restaurant." Oh.
And that guy's ass is so big, it's got his own congressman.
Hey, Fetty, I got a film for you. A bridge too far. All I wanted to do was watch Honk If You're Horny in Peace. Oh, there's so many quotes from this one.
This is the illest episode, man.
I've watched it so many times as well.
It's so good.
It's so great. It feels like one of those good, like, if I was ever going to do a Simpsons quiz, I think a lot of questions would come from that episode, like how many pounds did he get to, like, you know, little specific ones like that. I
love oh no, there's another bit. I think he goes somewhere and some clerk at the store is helping him, and he goes, "So what do you do for a living?"
Computer stuff.
Don't tell me it's something to do with computers.
Something with computers. Well, I use a computer. Yeah, it must be the non-stuff. Where's this non-stop sitting and constant snacking? Well,
I love their view of just people who work in technology.
Something with computers. That guy's voice as well is so good.
There's a joke in it I didn't get for years. where Homer's at the keyboard and he's pressing buttons and it's saying press any key and all of that, right?
There doesn't seem to be any key.
Yeah. And then he goes, F it, I'll order a tab.
Yeah, I didn't get that for ages as well.
Yeah, I think there's a drink called Tab in the US.
But it's a US specific thing.
Jeez, yeah.
And then he's like, oh, no time for that, the computer's starting. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There's education here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that. I genuinely thought the same thing for ages. I was so confused. And order a tab. And then the bit where he's like, I see Esk, Catarro, and Pigup.
I don't think, like, when it ever, like, does anyone ever use computers that look like that? The green screen?
Yeah, it's so like 90s.
That's when that episode came out.
It would have been the 90s, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they moved way beyond that by then.
Yeah, man. Like, I actually saw someone using the computer like that the other day, but just like purely for code.
Right.
It wasn't green on black. Yeah, it was like black on white.
That's just bad for your eyes. Like,
yeah, surely. That's why the Matrix, if it came out now, wouldn't be relevant, because all those green sort of zeros and what, you'd be like, what's going on here? Why are these random green digits cascading down the screen? This makes no sense.
Yeah, it'd be somebody on a Mac.
Yeah. And it's just working like 10 times quicker.
The film would be like 20 minutes long.
It just Control-Alt-Delete. All right, it's done. You got rid of Agent Smith. It was just a virus. It's easy.
The Matrix is one of those films that started so well. Much like this podcast. The Matrix, like, the second two were straight trash.
Yeah, I still liked him, though. I still liked the fight scenes. Just became, like... It became like it was bad because it was bad in comparison to the first one. Yeah. And they're still bad of their own right.
Right.
But they're still... Like, the fight scenes are quite cool. Yeah. I remember quite liking the fight scenes and thinking they were... And I kind of like superhero films.
Yeah.
And that was just like a kind of bad one of those.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked it for its worth. But yeah, I know what you mean. It was still bollocks compared to the first one.
Yeah, I think it's one of those films you just have to watch just to be able to exist in the current zeitgeist and get people's references. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so weird, man, because it was like the first one is sort of. I mean, it's not really philosophical in like a true sense, but it's like kind of a bit of an investigation into like a good philosophical idea that maybe we're all not in control.
Yeah.
And then the second ones are just like, well, we've done that. What else are we going to do? I don't know, more fighting Agent Smith. Give him that bollocks. They like that in the first one. Yeah. What about the next one? Same again, make him blind. Oh, he can still see. Well, then it's the same, isn't it? If he can still see when he's blind, it's not a handicap. He sees better, I swear. He can see in fire. Why can he see in fire when he's what? What is he up to?
Why? Maybe, I think it was just like a criticism of 9-to-5 work, because he was just like an office drone.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe it was just like psychosis. Maybe
it's just all a dream.
If I just do one more tea round, I'm going to shoot myself. Yeah, I don't know. Like, don't take pills from random strangers.
Right? Ever.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even at a festival or anything.
Yeah, and he was just, he didn't even say like, oh, sorry, what are these? And he's like, oh, take this. And if someone said, take this pill and you'll see how deep the rabbit hole goes, I'd go, thanks very much, Morpheus, but I'm going home. I don't want either pill. I certainly don't need a pill to go home. I'm going to pass out and you're just going to drive me back in a cab. And I'll be, I'll walk. You psycho.
Yeah, come on, man. Bill Cosby tactics. So I just have to, I have the worst lawyers. So he was found innocent. We should clarify.
Good for him.
Do you know what I love is that when I started this series, that it was in pre-trial. So we were free to free to speculate.
That's his version.
And now you have to.
Now it's libel.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Is it libel or slander?
It's probably both. I don't want to find out. I'm still trying to beat the case from Chicken Cottage, which I can only assume has been raised by the time you heard this. We're not here to talk about the Matrix, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what we're really here to talk about is The Simpsons. So
Les Simpsons.
So tell me your second episode.
Second episode.
Second in the order here.
Which would be the same either way, I suppose. It would be the same either way.
Wow.
Let's see, my mate. On this freaking page. It's Homer Badman.
Yo.
Has this been done before?
No. It was an honorable mention, but this is it. This is the one. Yes.
This is a great episode. I've made a lot of notes on this one.
Episode ever.
Because there's so many, like, I mean, my favorite jokes are like, it's weird because like you have jokes that you miss out on generally, that you just watch and then like, you know, maybe you're not culturally aware or you're not old enough. Yeah. But there are some jokes in The Simpsons that are really just quickly said, and because it's so packed with jokes, you literally miss them being said almost, and then because you miss them the first time, you don't really listen out for them the second time.
Right.
And then, so after it's not until you do something like what we're doing, where you want to sort of like examine an episode, where you really, really see, you know, the good jokes sort of interwoven within just like bits of sort of like linking dialogue, just between two ideas, which is and has always been the best thing about The Simpsons is how like it gives you too much. It wants to spoil you. It's like the Marx Brothers or like Airplane or like Naked Gun or Hot Fuzz, those kind of films that just give you too much,
right?
And just want you to have all these jokes to sort of spot when you watch again. Yeah.
So I just want to check. Did you slip in Naked Gun as a joke into that list? Or?
No, Naked Gun's great. Did you not like it?
Oh man, maybe I'll sleep in on. Maybe I'll see it on one level.
Naked Gun's great. That's beaut.
Airplane as well.
You don't like Airplane?
There's like one joke in Airplane.
Oh, what?
I like my coffee. I like my men.
Mate, they're great.
Yeah.
You see, and big influences on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Defo? Did I just say Defo?
Yeah. You, this is 1995 MSN.
Yeah.
You get a pass because this is nostalgic radio.
Yeah. Well, we're in the 90s for the episode, so I'm like living it. I'm method.
Now, I think that I don't want to compare it to like some holy scriptures from some. But it's deep. Like you have to kind of introspect on it like generations later and finally get what's going on.
100%. And it should be like examined. It's just as worthy as anything else. It's so good. It's so well written not all the way through, but like in that golden segment, right, which is 8 series.
Right. Yeah.
That's like minimum.
Yeah.
11 maximum probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some obviously salvageable ones after that, but I mean like it's weird I always think like, oh, it's weird how there's only like 8 great series, but it's 8 fucking series. Are you mental? Yeah. That's massive.
Yeah.
That's 4 times The Office or any of my favorite like sitcoms. It's huge and it's so consistent across that time. Like, of course it got bad. Yeah, right. Of course, like everything's finite. It's like I literally put it in the same bracket as like Eminem.
Right.
Of like, it started off like incredible and had such a great soul and such a great feel, and it was doing stuff to kind of subvert a genre in a way.
Yeah.
And then the more it went after a certain period, which I guess for The Simpsons was like series 8 and for Eminem was sort of, I guess, the Eminem show. After that, it feels like they both go on this kind of decline of heart and what they were, and it always also feels like they sort of retrospectively or retroactively like go, oh, these things used to work, so I'll just take them and put them all up to 10 and just like do as much as I can with it. They both do the same thing.
Like the opposite of evolution.
Yeah.
To the worst bits.
Survival of the shittest.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Eminem and The Simpsons are in some
same trajectory.
Quantum entanglement.
Yeah, I think Eminem is Matt Groening. I just think they're the same person. I had the same birthday as Matt Groening.
No way.
15th of February.
Ah, that's beautiful.
I checked that a while ago. I should double check that.
What's it like having a birthday after Valentine's Day?
The day after, yeah, no, it's pretty good. I just feel bad for my mum who was like clearly in labour over Valentine's Day. That's not very romantic.
Oh man. Jeez, that's
imagine that.
That's awful.
Dad with a rose in his teeth. It's like trying to will her through, not passing out of pain as I come out of her vagina like some mad fucking alien on Valentine's.
Wow,
terrible.
We were hoping Susie's parents could give her this conversation. You know? Listen, no, I got a winter birthday myself. I'm in January.
Nice,
16th. If you're listening, listeners, send it.
Only a month.
Yeah. It's a good month.
Yeah. I think my crush in school, I think the girl I fancied in school had the birthday 16th of January.
Oh, wow.
Is that weird that I remember that?
What? No,
I don't remember it out of like current infatuation.
Right.
I think it's just one of those weird ones. I think, yeah.
I still haven't got over my high school crush.
Who is she? What was the name? Full name?
Oh, no. I still got a chance, right?
Mine was Kerry Wyatt.
Oh, wow.
If you're listening. I'm sure you're very happy, and I'm very happy in a relationship, and I'm not bitter, so shut up. Next, let's do that.
Right. Yeah, cool. Let's proceed.
Homer Badman.
Incredible
episode. I didn't notice actually that it's Homer Badman is written on one of the placards of the angry mob outside.
Ah, okay.
Who gather around Homer.
Have you ever heard this idea that it's like actually a really corny thing to insert the title of the show into the content?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a sign of a bad film or
it's like, definitely one of those things that, when it happens, you momentarily get taken out of the film and you go, oh, that's why it's called it. And then you go, there was no need for that.
Yeah.
Apart from Dunkirk, if they say Dunkirk, and that's fine.
That's key to the
plot. You don't see Kenneth Branagh turn into the camera and going, "We are in Dunkirk," and then backing off and then carry on normal. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
awful.
Yeah, and in books, they do it in books, and it's more annoying in books as well. I think
it's appalling.
Yeah, but that's subtle enough, I think, in this because it's like one of like 10. Placards, or is that what they're called? Placards?
Yeah.
Like on a stick or picket signs or whatever.
Yeah.
Held by like an angry mob of feminists,
right?
Who, sort of angry at Homer because they think that he's touched up the babysitter.
Yeah.
I'll give an abridged plot.
Give us
which is that. It's got a great opening, and it's one of my favourite things that Simpsons do, which is just like start on one thing and then just use that as a vehicle to go to a completely different place. And it's they want Homer wants to go to the gummy convention, the candy convention.
Yes.
In Springfield, and so he goes there. He takes Marge because she's can conceal more candy in a massive coat that he's made, and it finishes with the kids like stitching it up, putting secret pockets in. And then they go, he sees all the amazing, like candy there and it's just like really, really into it.
He's the lemon thing, right?
Yeah, that's how I've got that written down. This is the super sour ball. As you can see, it's so sour, it has to be contained in the Glavin, where's it gone? And then it's just like the funniest drawing of his face. I don't know. So that's one of those things where like, just the animation is so strong in The Simpsons, and it has those moments where it just like the 100% of the joke is just the animation and just seeing his face just like imploded into itself. It's so funny, and there's a bit just before that as well where Marge is like, "Why do I have to wear this coat?" And she's and this is one of the jokes that I missed until today when I watched it. And he goes, "Well, you're the one who didn't want to go in the hollowed out wheelchair." Like, that's so funny, man. It's such a good image. Of just like going in pretending to be disabled and like stuffing sweets under the carriage. Oh god.
Oh man, that's a good sign to stop eating sweets if you're going to go to those lengths.
And so he goes there and then he sees the Venus de Milo, which is crafted by this like expert gummy maker, like artist. I think he says like expert gummy artisans, and they keep saying gummy, and then Marge is like, "Can you stop saying gummy?" And then.
And they trained only in the medium of gummy.
Yeah, only in the medium of gummy. And then Homer has like a relatively rare, like really proper crazy moment where he just like in front of everyone is just bold enough to smash through and grab the Venus de Milo, and everyone chases him. It's sort of like it's close to being fantasy. And he gets like... Marge runs out with like half of her sweets missing because her pockets have busted, and then he gets like this Buzz Cola and these candy rocks, and then mixes them together to make an improvised grenade, and then throws them and they explode.
See you in hell.
And he's like running out in slow motion. There's like this impossibly huge explosion behind him, just like sucks everything up. I love as well. Like one of my favorite things about cartoons and like the universe that they put you in is when they have things like brands internally, like Buzz Cola. I swear they never actually say Buzz Cola, or rarely, but you know it's Buzz Cola because you see them anytime someone has Coke, it says Buzz Cola on it.
Yeah.
Just like, Duff, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more, but I just can't think of them.
But there's some real brands like Moon Pie.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Moon Pie. Yeah, they sort of have a mixture of like, I think in the earlier ones, they probably tried to make sort of jokes about already existing ones. And then later on, they sort of put in more direct references to things. Like I remember when they brought up iPods once, and I was kind of like, and I was just, it's just funnier to have a joke one. Yeah, they may have called it something different, but like South Park are really good at that.
Oh yeah,
they always have phony instead of Sony, or like every single one has like a fake version of it.
They can't afford the lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's an episode where they go TV shopping, Bart and Homer. And it's like, they've all the great brands. Panaphonics, Sony.
That's a great episode. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the best TV I get. It's just like they get the exact same TV again. I love that bit. They're like just before they have to get it fixed because Grandpa's just like trying to get it to fix, and he's like he's hanging over the TV, and he's like, I'll make my adjustments here, and then he just like. Love that line. I'll make my adjustments. He's got no business working with a telly. He obviously doesn't know. Oh, right. But yeah. Where is he? He's so he gets the Venus de Milo, and the gummy Venus de Milo, takes it home. The kids eat all the sweets, and then they go to take the babysitter home. Yeah, or Homer does, and he can't find the Venus de Milo. Driving her along, he's a bit of a twat just anyway, because he's sort of like a bit just brash and crass all the way through, and she's already established herself as a feminist when she came, and Bart's like, you're one of those don't like being called a chicks, huh? and then he sees the Venus de Milo when she's leaving, is on her ass, so he goes to grab it. She misinterprets that for a sexual assault, goes home, the mob come. Homer's a bad man. Homer needs to be taken care of. He goes out to try and talk to them, and the wind blows up his dressing gown. Just makes it worse. And he gets really depressed as well, actually. He gets like really down in a funk. Man. He even says, this is so depressing. I don't have a friend in the world. Oh. And then Moe and Barney and all those guys come through. Oh. And they're like, hey, get out of our way. Oh. You guys don't talk about Homer until you talk to his friends, because we've got the real dirt on him. And it's 10G. 10G to the bestseller. And they're like, I got 10G. And then he's just like, how harsh is that? Like, I remember watching it today, and I think I've seen that episode so many times, and yet every time when they come... Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's nice that they've come to defend him. Every time that gets me. And then they're like, nah.
You know, I think that Cosby had the same defense. That he was just trying to get the Venus de Milo.
Oh, God.
Go to hell. All right, carry on.
So is he? No, I'm joking. He's, so it's actually quite an intricate plot, really. There's so many different things happen, but it's done so well, and it's a really good reason I like it is because it's a really good look at like the demonizing of people in Cosby.
Yeah, exactly.
Demonizing of people in the media when something goes wrong, everyone wants to jump on it. Every news station has that amazing bit where Homer goes in to talk to a news station about it, and then the editor just splices up everything.
Rock bottom.
It's called rock bottom, and then. He's like, he thinks he's nailed it, and then he comes out, and then you see the edited version of it, and he's like, I just saw her sweet, sweet can, and I had to grab her sweet, sweet can. Oh, I wish I had her sweet, sweet can right now. And he's like, and then it cuts to the interviewer, who's in a totally different place outside instead of inside, like clearly just spliced in, and he's like, he's like,
no,
do you have any apologies to say? And it's just him frozen. And he's like, your silence only incriminates you more. No, Mr. Simpson. No, don't attack me. Don't take your anger out on me. And the best bit is in when they're editing his bits. They put in, again, like it's another one of those like little background jokes that's just for the viewer on the second viewing or something. Yeah. The clock in the background keeps rapidly changing from like 12 o'clock to 15:15, just like with the cuts, just to make it even more obvious and to show that they didn't think about that and that they just knew they didn't care.
Oh man, I love it so much.
It's so good.
So I'm going to edit up this podcast as well to make it sound like we're Cosby sympathizers. No, Mr. Shuffle. Listen, like I say, he does the same thing to the Scottish dude at the end.
Oh yeah, Willie, when he's like,
yeah.
He takes videos of you when you least expect it. That guy is disgusting. And then he goes, when Lisa's like, haven't you didn't you learn anything from this? Kids, I haven't learned a thing. It's just like a nice homely message of not learning.
Have you seen this show? This is what it reminds me of, and I didn't see the show until years later, but To Catch a Predator.
Oh my God, I used to watch it all the time.
Wow, this is the best TV show on the planet.
Hour after hour, at work, mostly. At a job I used to have, I got made redundant on a year to the day. Probably saw my internet history and thought he's either slacking off or he's a paedophile and trying to get tips on how to avoid Chris Hansen.
I'm from Daylight NBC.
You ever see it? And they've always seen it as well. You ever seen it? Yes. Fuck. Oh man, it's addictive viewing.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's appalling. I'll be real with you. It's kind of medieval though, right?
Yeah, it is.
But man, it's good viewing.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where like it nearly makes you never sympathize with the guy.
Right.
Never sympathize with the guy.
Wow.
But you see them in a different light. No, I'm joking.
Jeez.
You have to like you see him like and you're like you're like, oh God, it's just discomfort. It's not sympathizing. It's just like more sympathizing purely for the discomfort.
Yeah.
And just being like, oh God, just imagine the panic and every single thought that would be going through your head as you're like, what can I put? Like, I've got a bag full of dildos and drugs in my hand and I'm and they've got all this evidence.
Yeah.
And yet they always are like, no, this was, and I'm like, how are you, what are you thinking's going to happen with all these cameramen? And there are police, like, what are you expecting to come out of that? Best case scenario, you somehow get out of jail, but you're still getting tackled and beaten up. Jesus.
I love how the houses are always so nice.
Yeah.
Like if somebody invited me to a house like that, I'd turn around. I want to show it.
Yeah.
You could do it in London. My place is so small, you'd see Chris Hansen the second you walked in. You just have
Take a seat. Where do I, what, on this beanbag that you've like stolen from a creche?
Lord. Oh, man. Yeah. No, I just watch it on YouTube. Like, a couple of years back, I busted my leg, and so I was just laid up the whole time. And I just watched that on loop. And, yeah.
See, this is one day someone's gonna have first exit to Pedophile'ville or whatever, and you'll have the story that we were talking about. I was holding up, I had a broken leg, and I got really into pedophile catching.
I love the best origin story.
Yeah, everyone else has watched the box sets, not Mansour. No, he was busted up.
Jeez. Oh man.
Oh god.
Cool. All right, yo, what episode are we on about here?
Home of Bad Man. So he goes on rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then gets edited, so it goes even worse. And then there's that incredible like recreation bit.
Yeah.
Where they're like, reconstruction bit where he's driving down the car.
Yeah.
And then the babysitter is like, no, Mr. Simpson, a cat is a living animal. And he goes, I don't care. And then he just like bumps over it. And then he's like, now let me get my hand on that ass or something like that. And then
get me some sweet.
Yeah, some sweet. Yeah, just sweet. And then Homer's like, oh, I want to see how it ended. And then they have, Lisa has the idea to go on the public access TV, which again is one of those things that I never really got because it's an American thing.
Yeah.
It's on loads of sitcoms though. Like
Wayne's World is... Wasn't
100%, yeah. But like, I remember just not getting it and just being like, what is public access? Like, I didn't really understand it, and it's referenced in so many things.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's just like something that you can go on. But I guess just like the losers go on it mostly, and you just do nothing.
Well,
and
YouTube is the new.
Yeah. And then so he goes on public access TV and makes his little appeal.
Yeah.
Where he talks about. He's not a bad guy,
right?
And then the guy who's working it is like, oh my god, the lights are going crazy here. 2 cars, that's the most we've ever had. And then they're both like marketing calls, and so then what happens next? Oh yeah, so then Willie comes out.
Right.
So it's quite like I say, it's quite intricate. There's a few different ways they try to solve it. Like him just saying like, you know, you don't understand and giving the story, which is far-fetched enough to be true, obviously.
Yeah.
And then an interview, and then public access.
Yeah.
And then finally they get Willie, who has this weird fetish for like filming people in cars. And he says that like, he's like, people find it weird, but every single Scottish person does it. What is that line? He's like, he's such a close up on his face as well. Every single Scottish person does it. Amazing. Sorry about that terrible Scottish accent.
That's cool.
And,
we have a lot of Scottish listeners.
Yeah, not anymore. And
big up Dave. Big up Saul too.
Yeah.
I was winding him up when I had him on. Every question was about groundskeeper Willie.
We're telling him now by doing it. Yeah. Oh, what are 10 things you didn't know about groundskeeper Willie?
Cool.
Yeah, and then he's shown to be actually getting the Venus de Milo off, and he's off.
Yeah.
And then, but the best thing is that they're like retraction of it on rock bottom. It's just part of 20 different things that come down on like, we would like to make the following adjustments, and there's like loads of things going down so quick, and I thought for this episode I should take a look at them.
Thank you.
And so do you remember that bit earlier where Homer is like on he's at rock bottom, and he gets a call from the guys at rock bottom, and he's like, please help me God, and then the phone rings and he answers it and he goes, Homer, this is God Free Jones from the, and then it cuts to him and it says Godfrey Jones. Now, like this is a good bit from them. So all the information that's going down super just quick,
scrolling down the screen.
You have to pause it because it's like 3 seconds and there's loads and loads of things. It says and these are like corrections from previous shows. So the UFO was a paper plate. Just the UFO. Right. I didn't get everyone there, just the best context. One. The word cheese is not funny in and of itself, which I love because I remember at school when everyone was like either said cheese or sheep to be like random. And they were ahead of the curve because I thought that's only started up when I was in school, which would have been like, 2000s.
Oh, now they'd watch this.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, cheese, oh, sheep. Oh, fuck off. The older Flanders boy is Rod, not Todd. Which is like a self-referential, proper like acknowledging that that's a tricky thing to get.
Right.
If you are reading this, you have no life, which is a good one. Like they've caught you out.
This is like a message from the past.
Right? The other UFO was an upside down salad spinner. What's this one? Our viewers are not pathetic, sexless food tubes.
Wow.
Bart is bad to the bone. And Godfrey Jones's wife is cheating on him.
Wow.
So it's like a really specific reference to a guy who's only been named once in that episode, saying that his wife is cheating.
Wow.
And that's just like for us. There was a bunch of other ones. I can't really remember. There's like someone is a robot. V8 is not like 1/8 gasoline. And those are the ones that the like Bart and Homer repeat one each. Like, oh, V8 is not one. And but yeah, so funny.
That's beautiful. I think they just write jokes for themselves, the writers.
Man, like that's what's so good about it. Like I heard that in the earlier series, that Golden Age, they went through like 30 redrafts of jokes.
Really?
It went up to like 30, which is why like every joke has like so many different elements to it, like a little dot here, dot there.
Wow. That is amazing. Those kind of Easter eggs.
Yeah, man. Like,
next time somebody asks me about hidden Easter eggs, I'm gonna steal you.
That's a good one to reference. Like, I think like it just shows that they're thinking so much about it and that they want people, and it shows that they're having fun because you wouldn't write that kind of thing if you weren't having fun.
Right.
You wouldn't, why would you take that much time? It doesn't matter what that said. Like, people are going to pause it, and they know that people are going to pause it on those things to see what's going past.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to be particularly good jokes. They certainly didn't have to be things that, like, reference previous characters that are one-off characters. Yeah. Like, that's really clever to do that for no reason and just have you know something about this character. It's just, it's a level of detail that's, like, it makes you feel greedy as a viewer. It gets you used to having so much to absorb in like such a small space of time. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's beautiful. It makes Stuart Lee look like an amateur. That's
Can I go through some of my favourite jokes from this?
Absolutely,
from this episode?
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
I took so many notes, mate.
Yeah.
So I've got the hollowed out wheelchair bit, the super sour ball. When there's a bit in the candy convention where Homer goes up to the stall and it's candy lips. Like you put them on and you pretend that, and it says the candy with 1,000 uses. And he goes, "What are the uses?" And he goes, "Well, you can. They're a good, fun substitute for your real lips." And he goes, "What else?" And he goes,
Keep going.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm needed down in the basement." And then he just like goes down, and then Homer steals them all. Marge gets out some celery whilst there, and then the guards come up and go, "You're going to want to put some sugar on that celery." Great line. And this is one that I've missed until now. Homer's getting all excited by these like different things. He's like, "Oh, gummy balls." And then he says like gummy spheres, and then the last one is gummy jawbreakers, which obviously like if the purpose of a jawbreaker is to be hard, but there's a gummy one, and they're just 3 balls, just labelled differently. Here we go. Why would anyone want to touch a woman's butt from Bart? Just like he's like not experienced enough. He's like, why would anyone want to touch a woman's butt? That's where cooties come from. Like it's so obvious.
I love how American that word is, cooties.
Yeah, cooties. Oh yeah, where his solution to it, Homer's solution to it is to live under the sea. And then it just goes into his fantasy and he's just eating all the crustaceans, eating everything. And it's really all he wants to do is eat fish. And he just thinks it will solve his problem.
Wait, is this the song bit?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. And he's like, no accusations, only crustaceans. It's like, why has he got a specific song just stocked up there? And then Marge is like, no, that's your solution to everything is move under the sea.
Oh, man. I'll tell you a crazy is a story from a previous life.
Oh, shit.
I used to be in a band.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't remember the circumstances.
Did you do a cover of this song?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, we got booked to do a show, and this was one of their requests. And we don't even do that kind of music, right? But they cut the check and we said, we'll sing what you want. Naturally, I was lead vocals. So
nice.
I felt like a stripper working for cash, I think. Anyways.
No accusations, only crustaceans. What else is there? Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a bit on a chat show.
It's like Ricky Lake or something.
Yeah, it's like Ricky Lake. And the woman literally says something like, I've never met Homer Simpson. I've never talked to Homer Simpson. I've never even heard of him before today, but I can't go on. So it says nothing. And then like the Ricky Lake character comes up and says, your tears say more than real evidence ever could. And like pats her on the back. Like literally just trying to get on TV, so blatant. That's so funny. And then the next show is like Benjamin the Bear.
Yeah.
No, Gentle Ben.
Right.
And it's just a bear who is also got his own talk show, but it's just like a helmet strapped to his head with a microphone on it. And he's just going up to members of the crowd and listening to him, and then obviously just goes to the food and has to get tranquilized. It's like, what is that bit about? That's so weird. And the Gentle Ben show. Portrait of an ass grabber is the name of that reconstruction. Portrait of an ass grabber. And then Homer's like, portrait, that sounds classy, right? I think my favorite joke of this episode is when Ken Brockman has the 24-hour live stream of outside the Simpsons place, and he's like, obviously we can't see into this house without some kind of infrared technology, so let's put that on. And then they put it on, and then all the Simpson family in the front, and then there's like this rotisserie chicken going around, and he goes, now I'm new to this technology, but I assume that is Homer Simpson in the oven, slowly spinning, literally roasting in his own juices. And why is that even bad? Why is that even something that like, what kind of accusation is that?
I think is it a reference to the MJ thing where like,
is it
Michael Jackson? There was a photo of Michael Jackson lying in some kind of
oven.
It was like a tanning bed, but it was cold. Whatever those things are called. Maybe like they thought he was into cryogenics or something.
That may be it. That's decent if that is.
I think that,
and well done.
It's that era, maybe. I don't know.
That's pretty good, man. But yeah, just he's literally roasting in his own juices. The last one is when Homer switches off the TV to try, or switches channel to try and like get out of the the continuous barrage of incrimination at him, and he goes on to like something to take his mind off it, which is improv stand up. And it's just like a little joke about how shit that kind of stand up is, like specifically the one that gets put onto that channel. And it's like this stand up, and he's like, I've often wondered about whether Mr. T and E.T. had a baby. I mean, what would that be like, huh? It'd be like, I pity the fool who doesn't phone home. And then he's like encouraging laughter like this. He's going like, he's beckoning laughter. And it's just like, it's just clearly the writers have this like opinion of what that kind of thing is, and they hate it, and so they just wrote it in like this little tiny away clip. There's no reason to put in a joke like that.
They hate really all kind of stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
just like the show is littered with terrible comedians.
Yeah,
I was saying, I think he's lucky it happened in that era and not modern times, because the internet would have torn Homer up. I mean, look what they did to Cosby.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, he would have that kind of thing doesn't leave you really.
Yeah.
Like the good thing about The Simpsons is how it resets on every episode.
Yeah.
But like if that was in real time,
oh man,
it would just, the whole rest of the series would be him getting over that and just like trying to get a job somewhere and not being able to, because he's like, yeah, that shit.
He'd be in a John Ronson book or a Ron Johnson. What's his name? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's John Ronson.
Yeah.
I like John Ronson.
He's good.
What did I read by him? What is it?
Men Who Stare at Goats.
Didn't read that one.
The Psychopath book.
Yeah, the Psychopath Test. Yeah. That's good, that.
Yeah, he's good.
Yes.
Picked up a copy of the DSM after that. Classic read. If you're looking for a stocking filler this Christmas, DSM 4. That's it. I think that would be like a super crazy gift if you gave someone that, but dog-eared like a page with like the craziest thing. There you go,
trust me.
All right, man. So listen, we're gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna think
that's the most ironic pause. Gonna keep it moving because anywho.
All right, man. Listen, so we're gonna keep it moving, and I'm gonna ask you what your final episode is.
Yeah,
this is the best one.
This is the best one.
Yes.
And I imagine this has been put up there before.
It's cool, man.
It's Cape Fear.
Yo, hey, listen.
With an E.
Hey, security. Hey. I don't know if you're joking or not, bro.
Has it been done every time? Is it?
This episode has come up like 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, shit. I didn't get to the last one. Was that one of Theo's choices?
I think it was Theo's choice. I think the crew had it in there. I think my sister had it.
God damn it!
Yo, oh man, this is.
All right, no, let's change it then. Okay,
thank you.
Let me.
This is.
I'm ripping up my notes like an emotional speech in a film.
Oh, he's dropped the notebook.
I've dropped the notes.
He's gone off the. Oh, this
is on
is
Le Ground. Why do I keep doing the le thing? Anyway, okay, I'm gonna. What I might do is swap my honourable mention.
Oh, okay.
For that one, and then I'll spend less time on that one. Okay, so my honourable mention one was I don't know the name of the episode, but it's the Lurleen Lumpkin one. Has that one been done also every single time?
That's not been done at all.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. So this would be like, number 4. Do you remember this episode well?
I know there's like a musical number in it.
Yeah.
Homer wears a weird suit.
Yeah. The rhinestone sort of cowboy suit.
Yeah.
And so Homer sort of like discovers Lurleen Lumpkin and her musical abilities when he has an argument with Marge because he was being really obnoxious in the cinema and like talking all the way through and asking questions, and then she humiliates him by being like, can you just shut up? And you feel a bit bad for Homer, but also like he was talking all the way through the fucking film and being like just chatting and chatting and chatting. So like it's kind of deserved. And so he goes out of town. Like the weird thing about this episode, the real reason I wanted to bring it up is because it's like it's weird how much of a dick Homer is in this episode and how easily Marge eventually forgives him. So like so he's a dick here. He goes like he's too angry to speak to her, so he goes driving and he goes out until the next morning at a bar that's like 200 miles away. And it's like this country and western themed bar, and Lurleen Lumpkin is there as a waitress, and he talks to her because she does a song, and he thinks she's amazing, and he tries to start her musical career. She obviously takes a shine to him, really fancies him, even though he's got a wife and she knows that. Marge gets really jealous. He keeps spending time with her. And then Marge meets her and is really jealous and is like, I think she says like, I thought you said she was overweight. And then it's like just the idea of Homer being there and just being like, she's overweight, it's fine. And then they go onto like TV and they get a really big deal out of it with, I think, Sony or something like Sony.
Yeah.
And then eventually she comes on to Homer. She has that song where it's like, won't you bunk with me tonight? Yeah. Bunk with me tonight.
Really
I'm asking you, Homer, will you bunk with me? Because it takes you like 3 goes. There's a bit where she sings it the first time and then he goes, wow, there's not a man alive who wouldn't be turned on by that. Well, anyway, and then he gets up and leaves and she's like, I think there's a message in the song you're like not quite getting. And so then he's faced with a moral dilemma. But again, like it's not like he says no and then leaves. He's like, I gotta think about this. He says, I gotta think about like he does with Mindy. Like he's
Homer,
tempted,
your old dog,
and actually like Marge does with Jacques.
Yes, the French dude.
Yeah, like whenever they have that like temptation, it's never like straight away no, which I guess is kind of like, I guess that's good in a way because. It's showing them as like fallible characters. They're not infallible. They don't just have like, they don't always make the right decisions when it comes to like morality.
Yeah.
There are big questions there about how it would affect their marriage and how it would affect their children. Like when Marge is going to meet Jacques and she's going past everything that reminds her of like being in a couple, like she goes past the marriage shop and then there's like 2 old people and then there's 2 gravestones next to each other, and then I think there's 2 skeletons just holding hands.
The Halloween costume shop.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and she, so she's really weighing it up in the same way that here Homer's kind of weighing it up.
Yeah.
As to whether he thinks, it's unclear as to whether he's struggling with the choice of whether he goes through with it or not, or struggling with the thought of whether he can continue working with her or not.
Yeah.
So it could be either, but I think it's whether he's gonna, get with her.
Yeah.
And then eventually he makes up his mind. He goes home. He sees Marge. She's still pissed, but now he's like, is there any room in that bed for like a fool who made all the wrong decisions or something? And then she's straight away, it's just like, yes, come in.
And wear the suit.
Everything, yeah. And everything's forgiven though, like, which is weird because
that's crazy.
It's like Marge is a bit neglected or like quite a lot neglected compared to all the other characters. Like, like we were saying earlier, she has all these aspirations of being a painter, but they never get examined. She never does it. She's always doing household chores.
Yeah.
And in this episode, she just like bends over backwards. She goes along with Homer to these things where she's really, really annoyed, but she wants to sort of be supportive. She's also a bit jealous, so she's going there for that reason. But it's kind of like this weird place where, why does she forgive him so quickly? Why doesn't she get really mad like he does? He didn't forgive her when she apologized for being rude to him in the cinema. He went out of town for like a whole night. So it's kind of weird. Shows what you think about, where I guess a bit where women sit in that kind of equation and how they were thought about by the writers. Maybe.
Yeah, this is my beef with the older ones, is that they were, I don't know, man, they were kind of deep. I don't know, like they
are.
Like
I think that's good though. Like. Is that what you don't like? Like that they have this deep kind of message towards the end?
Yeah, as in if I wanted to see them tackling social issues, I just watched a show purpose built for that, right?
I get that, but I think what's good about it is that it doesn't like spoon feed. I don't feel like The Simpsons ever spoon feed or like force things into like a moral thing. It always works out quite naturally.
Yeah,
I think. Also, it's I like that it has that heart in it.
Yeah.
And really, I think probably every episode has some kind of moral thing to it. It's just some are more subtle than others. But I get what you mean. Like the Mr. Bergstrom episode, for example, is like, it's borders on saccharine, but it's very, very nice at the same time.
Yeah.
But it just takes you looking at it in a slightly different way to be like, this is a bit much and I'm not laughing as much. But I think that just speaks to how varied the show is over those series.
Great, and you did it again.
Yeah.
What I love about this episode is that it's just a source of callbacks in later ones.
Yeah.
Lurleen comes back.
Yeah. What's that one where she's on the red carpet and she's just drunk? She's like, I slept last night in the ditch. And he goes, how about that, folks?
And whenever there's a scene where maybe Homer's looking through a closet or something, that old suit pops up, the old cowboy thing.
Yeah.
Like the octopus suit and all that. They're great for that kind of the
callback, yeah, it's
blast
true.
from the past.
And yeah, she's on there a few times, I think, isn't she? Yeah, she's on TV once or twice, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think isn't there there's a season 25 one?
Jesus.
Well, I think what's crazy is that I think she has a kid or something.
Right.
She's about Bart's age. She's a girl. There's generations to this, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Wait, why did she age but not Bart? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's crazy. No, that's beautiful. What season is this from?
I don't know. I think maybe 5 or 6.
I want to thank you for your originality.
Well, after the Cape Fear fiasco. Man.
Hey, listen, you guys won't see the outtakes where I'll beat up shuffle after. No, I'm kidding, man. I don't know if my improv skills were good enough. Was that serious about? Did you actually pick Cape Fear?
I really did.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Oh, okay. Oh, shoot. That's cool. But I mean, talk about that too.
Well, I mean, I don't have to have an honourable mention if you want.
Oh yeah,
we could just chat shit.
Oh yeah. So Cape Fear is your honourable mention. Do you know what it is? I mean, not to bore the listeners with stats, but I think at the end of this, I'm just gonna plot a chart of which episodes. Literally, the monorail and Cape Fear, just
yeah,
it's a bimodal distribution. These two just keep coming up here, right? I don't know.
I mean, the Cape Fear one is it is great. Would it be in your top 3 if you weren't?
It's not. I mean, it's a good one. You know what I'm saying? It's in the top 10, but it's not in the top 3.
Do you know if I can bring up something about Cape Fear that hasn't been brought up before, then that'd be. And do you know the Golden Rake?
The Golden Rake.
The Golden Rake.
Lay it on me.
It's like a term for when a joke goes beyond being funny and then comes back around to being funny because it goes on for so long.
Wow.
And it's called the Golden Rake because that bit where he keeps standing on the rakes and he's going over and over again, that has a point of Golden Rake where it's there's one specific one where the first one is funny, the second one is even funnier, then it breaks out, it pulls back and you see there's loads of them, that's even funnier.
Yeah.
And then you get used to it. And then the Golden Rake is the one where it starts being funny again, and that's when you leave it.
That's
it's
crazy.
enough. It's enough. It's in loads of things. Like the general rule of the Golden Rake is. Do you remember that Aphex Twins video where the limo goes past for ages and ages past the screen?
Oh no!
It busts into to someone who's chatting up a girl, and then the limo just keeps going, and there's just all you can see is the windows whip, so it keeps going, and then you laugh at how long it is, and then you stop, and then again you laugh at it. There'll be loads of examples of that. Yeah. Austin Powers, when he's he comes out of the cryogenic freezing and he's pissing, and they're like, urination, and then he goes again, and he keeps urination,
right,
and he keeps going, keeps pissing because he's been there for so long. That's Golden Rake as well.
That's a crazy device.
Yeah, it's really cool, man.
There's one where Homer's dialing a number to Japan, and it's going on really long, right?
Yeah. Oh, in the library.
Yeah.
He's is it a local call? Yes. And he's like, is that the
that's an
Mr.
example
Sparkles one?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sparkle. That's a great episode.
Oh man, yeah. Bamalab.
That's a bit later, isn't it?
Justice.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah. That's season 5, and there was
season 5.
I think so.
Why does that feel later?
This was what Bam was saying, is that there was a run. There was a few episodes in that season around that one.
Yeah.
Just gold.
Right.
There's the Mr. Sparkle one.
Yeah.
And then there's the Frank Grimes was the next one in that.
Right.
And
yeah.
it was just a series of these golden ones that were that was season 5. They were popping, man.
I swear Grimes was season 9.
Nah, man. Grimes
8 or 9.
Grimes is old school, man.
Are you sure?
Also, yeah, we don't Google in the show. That's
that's for afterwards. That's for a pub argument.
Yeah, where
I could have swore it was season 8 or 9 that Grimes came in, but
well, yeah, he came back. Well, no, he didn't come back. He was around there. Yeah. It's death is one way, Susie.
Let me think about another good one to use.
Yeah.
I'll think of one that I've watched recently. Has anyone said who shot Mr. Burns? Because it feels like that's too obvious, so no one would say it.
Nobody said it. Either part.
Yeah. That's a great episode. One better than two. Part one's better than part two, I think.
Oh yeah, because it was a letdown.
Yeah, it's the baby. Do you remember that one where it's like the 138th episode spectacular, and it's like, and then it's like they show the alternative version where it's Smithers, and then they're like, but in the end it was the baby.
Smithers would have made more sense.
Yeah. Oh, there's another great bit in the 138th episode spectacular where they're showing an episode from the Tracy Ullman show.
Yes.
And they're showing like all this, like it's basically 5 minutes. It looks like a contained, like very short episode.
Yeah.
And then it just comes back to Troy McClure who's hosting it. And it's it's so different. The show is so different. The humor is so different. The voices are weird. The animation is different. And it just comes back to Troy McClure looking at the screen that's playing it for like a moment too long, just like confused, like what the fuck is that? And then he goes, and as you can see, the show hasn't changed today.
McClure is the illest. There's a bit at the end of that one where they say, is that the one where they go like previews of what's coming up? And he goes, a little alien called Osmodia that only Homer can see.
Yeah, upcoming plots. There's a great bit as well in that when it goes to the commercial break.
Yeah.
And it goes, it's like Simpsons trivia, test your Simpsons trivia. It's got the outline of two characters. It's like, which popular characters died in the series? And then it comes back, if you said Bleeding Gums Murphy and Dr. Marvin Monroe, you were wrong. Neither of these characters were popular.
Yes.
That might be one of my favorite episodes, the 138th Spectacular. That's
best episode.
Great. That's incredible.
I was going to tell you some trivia.
Oh, please do.
So, between Who Shot Burns, so I never watched The Simpsons for the first 10 seasons as it was coming out.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I only got into 99. So this season 5, 6, that split with Who Shot Burns.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was, 95.
Yeah, right. Sounds right.
I think they ran an online competition.
Really? What?
Yeah, where you could like you could guess who shot.
Oh, right.
Burns.
Okay.
Yeah. No, in kind of So in late seasons they did it with the Flanders decide who he marries, Krabappel or the other one. Yeah. But no, this is that was a soft derivative. In 95 they did a Who Shot Burns? Tell us who you think it is.
Right.
And that's crazy for that era.
The internet was young then.
For real, man. And here's another random fact for you.
Hit me.
You know, there's an episode where Homer gives out his email address to someone. Chunky Lover 63.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that sounds right.
They were responding to that address.
That's fucking great.
That's beautiful, bro. That's
that level of attention to detail that goes outside of the show itself is exquisite. Yeah, I think I once searched actually Interslice. You know when he's coming up with his own company like URL, and he's like, I gotta call it something cool like EdgeCo or Interslice, and then isn't Marge like, how about Copy Global Hyper Meganet? He's like, all right. He gets a cool hello. It's Patty.
You know they got the internet on computers now. Internet.
It's the interneting on the. It's like Carl has that line where he's like, you know this new thing called the internet. Internet. Yeah, it's the interneting I have on these swimming trunks. It's gonna be the next big thing. It's when they're all young, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh god, I just logged onto my internet.
Yeah, I think I just logged on. That's a great joke, actually. Yeah.
They're beautiful, man. Yeah. So I'm saying this is the paradox. They make jokes about internet and technology in the show, but outside of the show, they're actually pretty tech savvy. Right. You know, I think Ted Krasinski kind of messed things up for them. The Unabomber, you know, because he was a Luddite, right? He hated technology, and I think their education. I think Ted Krasinski was a Harvard maths graduate or something. Jesus. Much like the writers of The Simpsons. Yeah. So he ruined it for them, right? Every Harvard maths graduate now has to pretend that they love technology. You know, that guy. It just takes one to ruin it for everybody. Anyways, let's move on for legal reasons.
As per.
Anyways, do you know what's weird is that so some super popular ones have ironically not come up, like Who Shot Burns.
I can imagine, yeah.
And the one episode that I'm referencing in the title of this podcast,
I say Springfield, yeah.
Nobody's mentioned Last Exit to Springfield, which is absurd. I mean, it's Yeah, that's weird.
I can't remember. I'm not very good with the titles. What happens in that? What's
It's the one where the plant goes on strike.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
It's home becomes the union boss.
Day and night
Exactly.
by the big cooling tower. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's
So that's the dental plan one.
Exactly. He needs braces.
Yeah. Dental plan. Yes.
Man, one time I had I went to get some dental work done, and my teeth were messed up, man. I'll tell you, it's. I'm like, yeah. So basically, I don't drink alcohol.
Right.
So I've replaced the toxins
with the E numbers.
Yeah. So I just
decaying sugar.
Check out my other series, Acquired Tastes. But I just drink a lot of soft drinks that are eroding my teeth slowly, and so I just get a lot of dental work done. And one time I went, basically, I don't know, like I was just sick of paying like the big money to get it done. So I went to like a student dentist.
Oh Jesus!
It was awful. It was like from that episode with the old metallic braces.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna look at the big
mirror.
British book of
the mirror, the big British book of smiles. Yeah, that's great.
It was awful. And I remember, I don't know what this guy, like the dentist, he was pitching me some options. He said, listen, we're going to take out these teeth and give you some false teeth or something.
Shit.
And the two options was like, there was something for like several £1,000s that was like state of the art. It looks better than your current teeth.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was like the entry level option, which was like if there's visible metal pieces outside of your mouth. I'm like, I ain't trying to buy that, man.
The other ones have got like sponsorships written across them and like outlined metal like alloy and spinners.
It's like
my mouth. The other one's a fucking school bus.
It's like when you buy Kindle from Amazon, you got a choice with pay £20 less, but have adverts displaying on your screen randomly. Oh man, I've got I've got like a ton of jokes about Amazon products. If I ever do stand up,
yeah, in the Amazon convention 2020.
As a stand up comedian, may I officially call you that?
I've done once, but yeah,
hey, it's
got another one on the 7th, as everyone knows. Nice. It was on the 7th.
It was on it.
It was on it.
It was on the 7th of September 2017. What I think a lot of comedians do is that they'll like prepare anecdotes in the hope that, if they ever appear on a chat show or in a radio interview, that they'll just relay them out instantly. And there's this one show on BET that went that way, where it was kind of set up like that. It was like a comedy panel, but the host was like prompting the comedians for their jokes in the most contrived ways. Right. So it wasn't even natural conversation. He'd start off with something like, hey, so what do you think of the traffic in LA? Like, what do you want? Yeah. And the guy would give him 5 minutes about that.
Yeah.
Like,
don't talk to me about the traffic in LA. I'll tell you, I was out there the other day. Every damn day. Yeah, it's awful. So forced, isn't it? There's a bit in Alan Partridge, Knowing Me, Knowing You with Alan Partridge. Have you seen it?
Nah.
Really good. It's like a fake chat show. Yeah. Where it's like a real audience, and he gets on like guests, and he's like he's got this guest on, and he's like now I've heard you're quite a charitable man, and then he's like he gets out this newspaper, and the other guy's like, oh no, don't bring that up, please don't, and he's like, no, it's like you went to a school and you gave them £20,000 for a new bus, and then the guy's like, yeah, no, I did that, all right, fair enough, thanks for embarrassing me, and he's like, no, don't worry about it. He's like, oh, thanks for bringing that newspaper in, by the way. Like that kind of like setting yourself up. Yeah, it's the next thing to like. I hate people who brag at all, or who are just like anyone who's even remotely self-confident. I've started disliking. It's got to that point where it's like it's trickled down to just resenting any kind of self-confidence. If someone's like, I do this and I'm pretty good at it, then immediately I'm just like, oh, you dick. But that's fine. Like, I'm just hating on them for no reason. But if someone says they're good at something, or like, I had this joke and it was pretty funny, be like, who are you to say that, you dick? Punch him for no reason.
Hey, I swear, even comedy critics are kind of bogus, because I don't know if you ever read the top list of Edinburgh jokes that they publish about Fringe.
Yeah,
those jokes are trash.
Yeah, the top 10 was really weird. I don't know why they chose a really weird order. There was a top 60, which had loads of like relatively good ones in. But yeah, the top 10 was a weird choice. I remember a few years ago there was a really good one where it's like, I'm getting rid of my vacuum cleaner. It's just in the corner gathering dust.
Hey,
that's a good one.
That's good.
Or like, I just went on a once in a lifetime holiday. Tell you what, never again. That's fine. That's good. So there was one this year was actually quite good, which is
Yeah.
Combine Harvesters, and you'll get a massive restaurant.
Wow. Wow.
That's quite good. Like written down, especially. That's very
That's
good.
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I watch an unhealthy amount of stand-up comedy.
Right.
But like deliberately forever will be a spectator. I'll never cross over.
You reckon?
Yeah, man, I can't do it, man. Like I got a lot of friends who do it. Like fully deep into that world.
Yeah.
I see some of them on TV and I'm very, very happy for
Yeah,
them,
that's awesome.
which is cool. But I could never do it, man. That's just it's tough for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just forever watch it. I'm like, I'm that guy. Never the front row, second row.
Yeah.
It's comedy nights here. So.
Thing with you as well is you don't have the crux of getting really drunk to get confident enough to go onto the stage.
That's
which
a
is
big
literally
help.
the only reason I was able to do it once. Was
Hey, you were amazing. That was good stuff, man.
Thank you, mate.
Lucid and vertical. And
Yeah, I can't remember it, but no, I actually did record it, like just the sound
oh, nice.
to see how it went down.
Yeah,
and then I never did it again because I was too scared.
Man, you got to do it.
I will do it again at some point, I'm sure.
There's a story I heard from one stand-up comedian who I think she said she got lung cancer because she'd done so much stand-up back when clubs you could smoke in those clubs.
Shit.
And yeah, I think that's her whole bit. It's an uplifting set she does.
Jesus, that's awful. What, second degree then?
Yeah,
or
something like from the second hand smoking. No, it was from the audience members.
Yeah, second hand, not second degree.
Yeah. Well, that's what the charges will be when they find it.
And they find the fucker who blew that last smoke ring.
I think that was Cosby's defense as well.
Fuck's sake.
Actually, so I've got a beef. One last thing. I'm very much outside the world of stand-up comedy, but I think I know more about it than the average spectator.
The average, yeah.
But there's one thing that irks me. I feel this is my sympathy for Cosby. I'm a Cosby sympathizer. So the guy who exposed him, old Hannibal Buress,
right,
exposed Cosby, and his career blew up almost entirely due to that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's a great comedian, but
yeah.
And soon after, Cosby's Netflix specials that were coming up got cancelled.
Right.
And Hannibal Buress got some Netflix specials, which I think is like, that's like the brutal world of comedy. It's a zero-sum game. For you to win, somebody's got to lose.
Yeah, right? It's like overthrowing a king. It's like there's not going to be two.
Jeez.
Someone's down.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us. I told you I've got the box sets. I'm on season 7 of the Cosby Show.
Oh, really?
I got to finish it.
Looking for evidence. Combing through.
It's so weird watching it. Every time he smiles, you think, what's hiding?
You know what's weird? In The Simpsons, there's a little bit where I was watching ages ago, like a best of bit, and there's a bit where Homer's reading a book, and it's like Bill Cosby on kids,
fatherhood. Yeah.
And then it's like it says something like perverse, like children perversing or perverse seeing or something like that. Definitely has the word perverse in it, and the hint is to do reverse psychology. And then Homer's like, what the hell's reverse psychology? And then his brain says like, don't do reverse psychology or that kind of joke. But yeah, he says something. He's reading it out from the book, and it definitely says something like perversing infants.
They were dropping hints.
That. Yeah.
Yo,
weird.
Groening's Illuminati, I'm telling you.
Yeah. That may be a misquote. I can't remember really. I was watching like the best of Homer and his brain, I think. Like, you know, when Homer has like those little bits. That was the bit that I was going to say from an earlier episode. It's when Homer has a fantasy and it's not that good. I'm trying to remember which one it was specifically.
Yeah.
And which episode it is.
Just while you think on that, I'm just going to say to our listeners who may hear any background noise from our sound engineer, he's don't worry, he's been taken outside and shot now. Don't worry. Let's go. Yo, rest in power, Mark. Carry on. Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm trying to remember the bit where he's like, he has a. Oh yeah. So it's in the Cape Fear one. So I'm sorry.
That's cool.
I feel like this is another one that may not have got brought up.
That's cool
because it's quite a quick, fleeting joke. But it's like he goes to the whole family goes to the witness relocation program thing.
Yeah.
And they're talking with the guys there, and he goes, "We're going to have to find you new identities."
Yep.
And then Homer goes, "Oh, can I be John Elway?" who is already a professional footballer.
Right.
And then it cuts to his fantasy of him in this football game as John Elway. And he's like, hut, hut. And they're like commentating on the game. And he jumps up and then he scores the goal or the touchdown. And he's like celebrating. And then, so it's his fantasy. And then it goes to the scoreboard and sees that it's the last score of the match. But the opposing team are on 50 and they're on 7. And so he's lost in his mind. It's like Denver 7.
Wow.
It's just so fun. Like what?
Wow.
Like that's the kind of way that you can see that the writers are going, how many jokes can we fit into this one? Because the joke is that he wants to be someone who already exists. He thinks that getting a different identity means that you can take someone else's rather than just invent a new one.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, let's give him like a fantasy thing. Let's make it so that he wins. He's taking it really seriously.
Yeah.
And then let's also have it that it meant nothing, so his fantasy was ultimately redundant.
Right.
And there's so many layers to that joke. It's brilliant. They do that kind of thing all the time. Just give you too much again, like just spoiling you.
We are truly in awe, Mr. Graining.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nuts.
Yeah, since we messed up the honorable mentions, I'm going to give you some space to run through some of your other choices.
Let me see if I can think of any off the top of my head.
Off the top of the dome.
The one where Homer gets the sugar. First you get the sugar, then you get... there's my favourite line, or one of my favourite bits in that is where the beekeepers come over to the sugar like thing, and they go, Mr. Simpson, you diabolical. And it like trails off. That's a great bit. The one with the cider trip, which I actually think is the Hank Scorpio one, where they go to the cider trip and they meet the Flanders. Can I borrow a feeling? That episode. Can I borrow the film festival?
Yes,
mate, that's a great one.
Man getting hit by football.
Yeah, but man getting hit by football in the groin has a man getting hit by football in the groin. Flaming Moe's, which is just fucking spectacular. Especially that bit at the end where like the list of ingredients comes out, and then every other shop is called like Flaming Moe's, but spelled MEAUX to avoid like or like burning Moe's or things like that. Treehouse of Horror 5, I think it's 5.
Specific.
It's my favorite Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah,
it's the one where it's the only one where I absolutely love every single story, and it's the one where he gets the time traveling toaster. It's the one where the teachers are eating the students, and it's the one where
we've all got a little Uter in all of us.
Yeah. In fact, you could say that we just ate Uter and he's in our stomachs right now. Scratch that last one. What's the third one? I can't remember the third one. I know. It's the Shining one. It's the Shinin.
Do you want to get sued?
Yeah, you want to get sued. The Shinin, yeah. So those are three
bangers.
Those are brilliant. And it's got a great running joke where Willie keeps getting axed in the back. And he's like, so there's one where he's like, Homer, you're not back to your own time yet. And then he gets axed in the back by Maggie. And he's like, oh, I'm bad at this. Because it's the third time in a row.
People rarely mention Treehouse of Horror in this show here.
Oh, I love the Treehouse of Horrors. The one where Maggie loses her baby legs. Maggie lost her baby. Yeah, that's a great episode. I can't remember the other two stories in that one, but yeah, I love all the Treehouse of Horror ones. The one where Homer goes back to college.
Yes.
He's like, nerd! He's like, hey, you get a load of the Poindexter? Excuse me? So the big guy is like a nerd as well.
Wanted inspector? Everything appears to be in order here.
The Max Power episode.
Yeah.
Max Power.
It's one of Bam's choices, I believe.
Oh, was it? That's a good choice. That's a good choice. And the one where ex-President Bush moves across the street.
Oh, man.
What an episode that is.
War of the Simpsons or something.
Yeah, it's or like maybe it's like Simpson versus Bush or something.
Right, yeah.
That's a great episode. And the Big Brother one.
Bigger Brother. Beautiful. Kruger's choice, I believe.
Nice. The President Moves In one is such a good one.
So good.
Like at the end where they have, was it Jerry Ford coming in? He's like, hi Homer, do you like sports? Yes. Do you like? No, he's like, do you like beer? Yes. Do you like nachos? Yes, Mr. President. Would you like to come round to my house and watch sports whilst we eat nachos and drink beers? And he's like, it would be an honor walking out, they both fall over at the same time. That's such a great episode.
They treat presidents so weird on that show. Some of them, they like make him seem adorable, like old Gerald Ford. But
Bush, that Bush had a speech where he said, what
less
was
like
it?
The Waltons.
More like the Waltons and less like the Simpsons.
Right, yeah.
And to like a huge applause. So I think they wanted to make a little dig at them because
They got back at him.
yeah, because I mean the Simpsons sort of came out of subverting the Waltons and like the stereotypical 2.4 children.
Well, it didn't originally. They were tackling quite serious family issues. Right?
Yeah.
And then my favorite one is when the Springfield wants to build a statue of some president, but the only one they can afford is Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
That's history's greatest monster.
And then at the end, when Marge comes back from prison, and they've given him the Marge's haircut for no reason. She's like, it's beautiful. And then it ends with like the swing ball bit where they're like, the kids are playing swing ball with it, and it just rolls around.
There's one Treehouse of Horror bit I love. I don't know what it's from, but I keep seeing it recommended on YouTube. Homer's in Frink's garden buying a time. Bart turns into a fly.
I watched that one yesterday.
Oh man,
he buys it for 35 cents.
Yeah.
It's there for $2, and he's like,
only transports matter. That's the illest line.
And the bit at the end where he's like, Homer's got the axe, and he's like, there are some things that shouldn't be meddled with. And she's like, Marge's like, what are you doing? Something I should have done a long time ago. You think he's going to take it to the machine, but he's just going for Bart to like, he's like, I'll chop you good. Come here, I won't hurt you.
That's an example of a film I watched years after The Fly. Awful film.
I quite liked it. That's Cronenberg.
Cool, man. All right, so I think we've wrapped up your cutting analysis of these episodes. I like to ask my guests who their favorite side characters are in the show. Is there anyone who you particularly love from this town?
Yeah,
colorful, rich ensemble set.
I think this is going to be another Cape Fear.
Oh man, what is it?
Well, I'm going to say Hank's Scorpio.
Oh right, yeah. He's sick.
Is that not?
Nobody's mentioned that.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
He's by far the best character. He's got so many great lines, and he's such a funny like one-off character where he's got like he's got this weird storyline where he's the head of this evil organization. Yeah. He's hired Homer and relocated him, and for some reason he's just like this great boss, really, really amicable and really like likable.
Yeah,
and
I've never had a boss like that.
Yeah, no, it's just someone who's just like so eager to please, and he's like having a shootout, and then Homer's like handing in his resignation like really like glumly as he's there like literally fending off the FBI, and he's like, Homer, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be sad to we'll be sad to see you go. And there's that like amazing line when he first goes into the office and Scorpio's showing him around, and then he goes, hey, take my coat and put it up on a wall. And then Homer's looking around and he's like, I don't know where to put it. And he's like, it's a trick. We don't believe in walls here. In fact, I didn't even give you my coat. And then he's wearing it backwards. It's one of my favorite like of all the Simpsons. That's one of my favorite moments. I don't know why. In fact, I didn't even give you my coat.
And the grin on his face.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And he's like making him a coffee and he's getting all the ingredients out of his pockets. And he's like, do you want any milk? And he's like, no.
I've definitely been to startups where it's that kind of vibe. Like, we don't have walls, man.
Yeah.
I think you kind of a quick story about the worst boss I ever had.
Yeah, please.
Man, listen, I was there's one place I was a delinquent worker.
Right.
You probably gathered from all these episodes that I'm a slacker. Somehow, some way I got myself on like some disciplinary program where it meant that this is crazy. At the end of each day, I had to kind of like write up a little summary of what I'd been up to.
Yeah.
He was watching me, right? And so what I do is I pad out the list of things that I've done with just like the most bogus random things. Things that had nothing to do with work.
Yeah.
It'd be something serious. I don't like filed reports and then went to watch a movie. and then I started getting like political. This is me trying to like fight the power mode.
Right.
I'd fill it in with like, discuss national reconciliation with the clerk and Mandela. I was like, random things. And he never once drew attention to it. It was kind of,
was he even reading them?
He wasn't reading. It was a power thing, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't even reading them. That's me, man. I'm stay resistant. Yeah, it is.
Do you know what? Like as the thing I used to do when I worked more as a sales admin.
Yeah.
And I was in an office like a lot of hours a day. When I would start something, get introduced to a job.
Yeah.
I would always spend twice as long on it than was necessary.
Right.
So that if you ever needed to do something in a rush, you could do it, and then your boss would be like, "That's amazing! How did you do it in that amount of time?"
Yes.
But also in just like a normal day,
you
can do like 2 tasks that take 3 hours.
Yeah.
And or like one task that lasts 3 hours, but you got to do it in 6.
Yeah.
And then basically your whole day's gone.
Oh,
and
man.
then you're basically into that 4 o'clock zone. And the bit that like doesn't exist between 4 and 5, where you're like, well, it's only half an hour till that. And then, it's too early to start. So it's too late to start anything now. So I'm just going to like slowly start packing up from like 4, like put a pencil in the bag and then sit there for a minute, make a coffee, come back, go to the toilet, come back, put like a piece of paper that means nothing into a bag. Oh, mate, I swear, one time at a job.
I'm taking notes here.
When I left the job once, I went into a drawer and just found all this paperwork that I was definitely meant to have filed.
Right.
And I was just like, what am I going to do? Because I'm meant to be doing like a handover thing for the next guy.
Right.
So I just got it all and then was just like, and then I was just like, just walked over to the bin. And then I was like, actually, no, I'm not going to do this. And then I went to my boss's desk and just put it in the bottom drawer there, closed it. And then I was like, right, I'm out. Layers. Thanks for having me. Oh, God.
I'm an amateur.
It's like the bin isn't safe. Like, that, something might fall out. They might put something in and notice it. Put it in their desk and they'll throw it in the bin. Yeah.
Yo, that's sick, man. And listen, you're a funny dude.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Who inspires you?
Inspires me.
Yeah, generally comedians.
Ricky Gervais is the obvious one.
Wow. Okay. From The Office, obviously.
Yeah. Up to 2007, he had another similar thing where like started off as strong as you can be,
right,
and then slowly deteriorated.
The old
I quite liked
Eminem
extras.
decline.
Yeah, exactly. I quite liked extras and I quite liked his stand up. But then like after 2007, I just sort of.
I'm not a fan, but I respect it.
I lost interest. But the main ones are Chris Morris.
Right.
Chris Morris.
Brass nose.
Brass eye. Brass nose.
What the hell's brass nose?
Brass eye, The Day to Day. He also directed
Braze Nose is a college in Oxford. I think that's what it is. Carry on. All right.
Yeah, he directed Four Lions. Do you remember that? The film about
the terrorists.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Armando Iannucci, who is like the co-writer of all those things with him, and also did things like The Thick of It.
That's right.
And which is great. And he's put like those two are probably the most like consistent comedians of all time, and they know when not to do a project for the sake of it.
Yeah.
That's what I really like in comedians. In terms of stand-up, there's a guy who everyone should look out for. I think he's just won new Comedian of the Year in the North.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the finals of new British comedian.
All right.
His name is Simon Lomas. I just did some filming with him the other day, and he's just like the most naturally funny person ever. He's got this kind of nerdy sort of appeal, like this little insular sort of character who just comes out with amazing one-liners, like really funny stories. He's definitely worth watching.
I'll look him up.
Yeah, he's hard to find any footage of online, but if you ever get a chance to see him live, do, because he's really, really funny.
Sick. All right, man. Cool. So we are regrettably coming to the end here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, flew past.
Yeah, I'm telling you, right? We've only been recording 4 hours. These guys are getting heavily edited. Cool. So before I throw you out the studio, and leave you slumped next to Marcus,
that's fine. I knew that coming in. I knew the risks.
And all the other guests. Nobody's ever seen the guests after they appear on the show. Do you have any final words or any final remarks?
No. Just keep watching The Simpsons, but only the good ones.
All right. Respect.
Peace and love. Come see me when I'm doing an actual stand-up. That's in the future.
Definitely.
If I ever do.
You got a Twitter to plug or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good idea.
You got a website?
It's at shuffle_T. That's my Twitter.
Underscores a key.
Underscores are key.
Yep.
I put up little jokes on there. Who doesn't? That's a rubbish thing to say, but yeah, you'll see.
Hey, you might get joke thieves on there.
Yeah.
Stay vigilant.
Thank you guys. And Facebook, I'm Adam Willard.
Sick.
WOOLLARD. My dad always says 2 up the front, 1 up the back. Because it's WOOLLARD. And he likes anal sex. Sorry, loves anal sex. It's fine. Not with me. That I can remember. This is Cosby.
All right, man. Yo, thanks for coming on.
That's my closing statement. Dude, yeah, thank you for having me, man.
We just cut to the outro music on that. No. Honestly, thanks for coming on, man. This has been a masterclass.
Yeah,
phenomenal. Thank you.
That's gorgeous. Cheers, mate.
Respect, man.
Yeah.
Peace. Peace. I've got an echo here. One more time. Peace. All right, we're done.